Hello everyone. The topic for today's lecture is cash book. What is this cash book and what is the use of this cash book? I'm talking about the cash book. In my previous lectures, I have told you about the journal entries, that there is a journal and in which we post various types of entries. After journal, we use ledger. What is a ledger? Ledger means you just calculate the balances of the accounts, or ledger is used to calculate the balances of the account. What is the procedure of ledger? We will discuss in our next lectures. Now, what I will do with the cash book? Cash book is a type of a ledger only. What is the use of cash book? Actually, student, as when we have prepared the journal, you've seen that there are the various entries that we do in cash. It can be cash at bank, it can be cash in hand. Cash in hand means you are doing the transactions from your hand, and cash at bank means payments and receiving are done by your bank. Both are the cash only. You know that. Now, when we do the journal entries or when we are preparing the accounts of any companies, so we have to post various entries of the cash account in the journal. Now, after the journal entries we post in our journal, we have to make the ledger. Ledger means similar entries we post in the ledger account. For example, all the entries that I have done, all the accounts that I have prepared in the journal, all the general accounts I have to prepare, I have to make a ledger of all the accounts that I have used in my journal entries. Now, if I have to make the ledger of cash account, means I have to post all the account of entries of the cash account in the journal or in the ledger. Now, it is very tiring to identify all the journal entries related to the cash, as there were the various entries, there were the various aspects, there were the various transactions in the companies in the form of the cash in hand and cash at bank. So what we will do? For this, we will prepare the cash book. Cash book is a type of ledger in which all types of entries that are related to the cash, it can be cash at bank, it can be cash in hand, in the particular cash book, so that it becomes very easy to calculate the balance of the cash account, or it becomes very easy to maintain the accounts related to the cash, or to make the composite entries of the cash at one place. So it becomes very easy for the companies to identify or to check the entries related to the cash book, or to calculate the balance of the cash accounts at any time at our very minimum time. As you are seeing on the board, it is written that every business enterprise uses a cash book to keep the record of the different cash receipts and payment that travel through the company in a particular period. An accountant records a cash book transaction chronologically as they occur within the debit or credit column. Cash book is a book which consists of all the cash transactions. Cash book in general is considered as a book of original entry as well as final entry, and is served a twin role of a ledger as well as a journal. Clear? Means it is preparing the role of the journal also, and it is playing the role of the ledger also. It is playing the role of the journal. Why it is playing the role of the journal? Because as you record the entries in the book of the journal, if you are preparing the cash book, you directly record your entry in terms of cash. It only record the aspect of cash in the cash book. And it is preparing the role of the ledger. Why? Because it is calculating the balance. Because cash book, it becomes very easy to calculate the balance when we are using the cash book. Companies can calculate the balance of the cash book at the very minimum time. So cash book prepares, or cash book plays a twin role in the company accounts. It prepares the role of the ledger also, and it plays the role of the journal also. Cash account, as you know, cash account comes under the real account. Real account is an asset account, and the rule of the real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes up. I've explained you earlier also about the nature of the accounts. We divide the nature of account into three parts, that is personal, real, nominal. Personal account is related to the natural personal account, artificial personal account. Another part of the nature of personal account is real account. Real account includes all the assets, whether they are current assets and whether they are fixed assets. Another one is nominal account. It includes expenses and losses and incomes and gains. So cash accounts come under the asset because cash is an asset for the company and it comes under the real account. So cash account is a real asset account or real account and thus any increase in item. Now what is the objective of cash book? Why we prepared the cash book? I explained very clearly to you. Cash book serves dual role of a ledger as well as keywords cash, discount, petty expenses, credit to account. Cash book always shows a debit balance. Debited to and any decrease in cash or bank account is credited to the account. Cash book always show a debit balance. It is very important to learn that the balance of cash book is always debit. Cash book, like a ledger, have two types of accounts. One is debit side, another is credit side. When you receive any type of cash, when any type of cash is received by you, when, for example, I am receiving cash from Mr. Sohan, what entry you do? Cash account debit to Sohan account. So when you receive any type of cash from anybody, but you will post the entries on the debit side. And when you do payment of anybody in the form of the cash, you make the entry on the credit side. So receipt entries, all the receipt entries which is in the form of the cash will be done on the debit side, and all entries in which this payment is included will be done on the credit side. This is debit and this is credit. Debit includes receipt, credit includes payment. And for the cash account is always have the debit balance. The cash book has the following features. We record only cash transactions in the cash book. In the cash book, only cash transactions are recorded. We don't record any other transactions other than the cash. It plays, as I have told you earlier also, it plays a twin role. It plays a role of the general also. It plays a role of the ledger also. All transactions consider book of original entry on the cash aspect of all things finally recorded in the cash book. It is also the ledger because it is also called, therefore it is also called as a final entry. It is called as the original entry because it plays the role of the general. The entry that is posted in the general is known as the original entry. So a cash book is also plays the role of the general. It make it easy for the companies to post the accounting entries or accounting entries related to the cash in the separate book of accounts, so that it becomes easy for the companies to audit the or to calculate or to identify all the transactions of the cash at the one place. So it works as the original entry also and it works as the final entry also. It plays a twin role also, it plays the role of the general also, it plays the role of the ledger also. Since the cash book is a substitute for cash account, no cash account is open in the ledger. If the companies is preparing cash book, so in that case, companies have no need to prepare the cash account. They don't have to post the entries of the cash in the general account. In general, they will post only the one aspect of the entries that was related to the anything. But cash entries we post in the cash book. If you're posting the entries in the cash book, no cash account is needed for the companies and it becomes very easy for the companies to have the entries at the one place. It has two equal sides. One is left hand side, which is called as the debit side, and other is the right hand side, which is the credit side. All the cash is received recorded on the debit side, and all the payments related to the report for the credit side. The difference between the debit and credit side will be shown as cash in hand. Balance of cash book can be verified by the accounting actual cash in the cash book. Cash book always shows debit balance and can never show credit balance. Unlike any other account, cash book is balanced daily. Cash book we balance daily. It's only the way the use of the cash book. Now, for example, I'm doing any business. Daily I have to check what are the transactions were held in the cash and what about the cash left with me. Now, if I don't prepare the cash book, what I have to do? Daily I have to check my journals, daily I have to prepare the cash account, and daily I have to calculate the ledger, and daily I have to calculate the balances. But if I am preparing the cash book or cash book prepared by me, what I will do, daily I go to the cash book, I just make the balance, what I have done today, or I just audit all the balances of the daily activities, and just calculate that whatever the balance have been left in cash with me, and will check with my the leftover the cash in my account or in my pocket anywhere, and just can verify that yes, the cash book is showing the right balance. If is there any change or if is there any variations, then it can be easily be identified and can be checked at what changes have been done, or where there is a default, or where there is a loophole, where the transactions have not been recorded, or is there any default in the system through which cash account is not is verified. Now this is the specimen of cash book. Cash book includes 8 columns: date, particulars, V number, LF amount. V means voucher number. LF means ledger folio amount. This amount is of debit. Same date, particulars, V number, LF amount. V number is voucher number. LF means ledger folio. See, it includes this number of columns, 10 columns. This side, this column is divided into 2 parts. One it is debit side and another is a credit side. This is debit, another one is credit. Now, how I can explain it? Columns of the cash book are explained with date means on the date on which transactions have been occurred is known as date. Date on which transactions occurred is to be written in this column. In the first line, the year, and in the second line, the name of the month, followed by the actual date. What you written, you have to write the time. Date on which transactions occurred is to be written in this column. In the first line, the year, and in the second line, the name of the month, followed by the actual date. In particulars column, in this column, the name of the opposite account is written. The second aspect of cash transaction along with the narration of the transaction. What do you do in the particulars? In the column, the name of the opposite account is written. Why it is written as the name of the opposite account is written? For example, my entries is student, what you do in ledger account? Why this is written? What is the procedure of posting your entries in the cash book? If I am preparing the name in the account of cash book, so what we do or what is happening in cash book, this cash term will not come in particular side. In particulars, always the next aspect of the entry will be recorded. For example, if I have the entry of cash account debit to Suresh account, or I have the entry that I have received the cash from Suresh. So entry will be cash account debit to Suresh account. Means the account which I have debited, I am preparing the cash book, I have to see whether I have debited the cash account or I have credited the cash account. If I have debited the cash account, I will go on the debit side. And my next account that I have taken, that is to Suresh, that I will write on the debit side. Same I will do on the credit side. Then I will explain you further when I will do the question related to the cash book. Here you just learn that in the particulars column, in this column, the name of the opposite account is written. The second aspect of cash transaction along with the narration of the transaction. Means in every entry, the narration have to be written in the particulars. Entry you do and you write the particulars. Ledger folio. Ledger folio means a page number of the ledger. This account I have to verify. Means I have posted the entry in the cash book, one aspect, and now that entry is also posted in the ledger account. Means for example, if it is the entry of the Suresh, then Suresh account is also have been prepared. Now that entry I have posted in the Suresh account, I have prepared the ledger of the Suresh account because Suresh book is not prepared. It is prepared. It has to be posted. We have to make the account, or we have to make the ledger of the Suresh. So the entry of Suresh name that I have posted in the cash book, at which point that I have posted in my ledger, that number will come in ledger for you. Students, please understand. Accounts is for the users. And it is a rule of account that everything has to be very, very transparent. And everything should be verified. Everything should be written in a proper format. In accounting also, when you are preparing the cash book, the first column date. Date means on which date that transaction has been occurred. We have to write it very clearly in the date column. If transaction has been occurred, you receive the cash on 4th of September, that 4th September will be written in the cash book. In a cash book, for the period you are preparing your cash book, only that entries will come in the cash book. For example, if I am preparing the cash book for the period of September month, then entries of September month only came under the cash book. If the entries of October month, that will become in my October cash book. So cash book will prepared for that period only, or entries will be posted for that period only. For that you have prepared your cash book. Cash book includes two sides. One it is debit side and another is credit side. In debit side you post all the receipt. In credit side you post all the payments. I am explaining you very clearly. So please understand. In debit side all the receipt. In credit side all the payment. When you are preparing your cash book, cash account doesn't come. Only you have to see your entries that you are receiving or you are paying. If in the transaction you are receiving the cash, then on the debit side, from whom you are receiving the cash, that name will come on the debit side. Just for example, I have the entry of cash account debit to Suresh account. Means cash account debit to Suresh account. I have received the cash from Suresh. So I will go on the debit side of the cash book, and the name that I will written on the debit side will be of Suresh. Cash account debit to Suresh account. And amount that I have received will be posted in next to the account name. Clear, students? Means the account that I am preparing, a book that I am preparing, that name doesn't came in my account. Opposite name will come in my cash book. Cash book, cash account debit to Suresh account. So, ledger folio now. When I posted the entries in my cash book, I am posting the entries. First, V number. V number means voucher number. In the organization, when you do any purchase and sale in form of cash or you do any transactions, you receive particular voucher or particular written verification. That written verification means voucher number, serial number, and this number is in this column. Means if your transaction have your voucher number, it is of purchase and sales, and it is having a particular receipt that carries a number, that voucher number will be written on that. Means it is very important, so that if at any time anybody wants to know that this purchase and sales is done at which date and from which voucher, so from the voucher it can be verified at the audit line. Now, what is the use of the ledger folio? Ledger folio is also very important. Now, this entry that I have told you, cash account debit to Suresh, you posted on the debit side, but when you prepare the account of the Suresh also, so if I have to verify that this entry is posted in the ledger or not, or Suresh account have been credited or not, then that number will, because I have various ledger books in company, there is not one or two accounts that have to be prepared. We prepare various of the accounts, and in one of the accounts there were the various of the entries that I have to post. There were the various of the books at the name of the ledger that I have post. So it can easily for the companies to know that this entry we found out in which ledger book, so that if in any future time I have to know that this entry where I have posted and how it has been balanced, so I can easily find out. So these both the numbers, this date, this voucher number, this ledger folio number is very important for the audit purpose and for the verification. Accounting isn't transparent. Accounting is for the user. So it has to be transparent. It can be audited, because if the company is of your public limited company, then all the parties are interested in your company accounts. So that have to be clear, students. Now, how many types of cash book are there? We have various types of cash book. We have cash book of one column cash book, two column cash book. One column cash book is like a cash account book. If I have to prepare the ledger of the cash account, In the same way, the one column cash book is prepared. We have two column cash book. In two column cash book, we have cash with discount column. In another form, we have the cash with bank column. In another part, we have bank with discount column. We can have three column cash book. And for the petty, if I want to record the petty expense at the separate place, we can prepare the petty cash book. Petty cash book is basically for recording all the petty expenses or the small expenses at the one side so that it can be easily recorded. Now, what it is one column cash book? What is one column cash book? What we do in one column cash book, students? In one column cash book, what we do? This is the simplest form. This is a very simple form. It's just like a cash account. If you know how to post the entries in the ledger, then it is very easy to prepare the one column cash book. Because it is one column cash book, we only post the entries related to the cash like the cash account. You have only two sides, debit and credit. On the debit side, you post the entries of the debit side, and the credit side, you post the entries of the credit side. Simplest form of cash would be used in business where payments are made and received mostly in cash, and we're using no cash discount is received or given. However, if there any discount or check transaction recorded separate account with the ledger, the ruling of one column cash book like that. Ordinary cash account. What does this mean? क्या कहा इसने? What is it written in the definition? Understand, students? No. It is written that this simple cash book is like a simple cash account. Simple cash account means it only posts the entries in which there is no discount or any discount or anything that is related to the cash is not received or given was given. Means if the entries are very simple, there is no discount is involved, or you want to only record the entries of related to the cash or what you have received and what you have paid. You didn't want to record the discount or anything, then you prepare your cash account book at a single column cash book. It doesn't record any type of discount. And for that, you have to prepare the separate account. Means if you want to record the discount, you want to record the cash discount, receipt or payment, you have to prepare the account discount receipt and discount payment in the separate books of account in the separate ledger. So, in simple cash book, you written other than the cash discount, you write only the entries in which you have received the cash or you have paid the cash. So, one column cash book is a simple cash book in which only one aspect of the cash is recorded. That aspect is that you are receiving the cash or you are paying the cash. Only that aspect is recorded in the cash book. Clear, students? Now we have one example that how we post these entries in the cash book. Just we take 5 minutes break and then we continue for the numeric. Till then, I'm just revising once again what you have understand about the cash book, so becomes very easy to know how the cash book has to be prepared. See, students, this is the specimen of the simple cash book. Cash book includes two sides. One is debit side, another one is credit side. Debit side is for the receipt, credit side is for the payment. In debit side, all the entries that you receive, that includes receipt side is recorded on the debit side. All the entries that are related to the payment side we record on the. See this further, we do the question on this specimen. Now just understand the question. This is an example that we do today for preparing the cash book. Today we are taking only one single column cash book only. So it becomes very easy to you to understand how the entries are posted in the cash book. As I have told you also earlier also, that cash book is also like the ledger. So in a way you post your entries in the ledger account, in the same way you post the entries in the cash book. So as I am explaining that how the entries are posted in the cash book, it also makes you clear that how you have to prepare the various accounts and how you post your entries in the various accounts and how you prepare the ledger. Basically, the purpose of the ledger is to calculate the balances. In the single column cash book also, we calculate the balances. Just read out the entries first. April 1st, cash in hand 6,500. April 3, purchase goods for cash 685. Paid to Rishi 95. Deposited into bank 4,000. Paid for stationery 465. Sold goods stuff for cash 2,500. Paid salary 400. Paid into bank 2,500. This entry is opening entry. Means this is the balance that I have at my opening of my account. When I have to pay purchase goods for cash, this is payment entry. Paid to Rishi, payment. Deposited into bank, cash is going from my side, going to bank, payment. Paid for office stationery, payment. Sold goods for cash, receipt. When I will sold goods, I will receive the payment. Paid salary, payment. Paid into bank, again payment. As you are seeing this, first entry is of cash in hand. Means when I am starting to prepare my cash book, it is cash in hand. Cash in hand means whatever the cash I have in my hand. So cash in hand is 6,500. Second entry. Purchase goods for cash 685. You purchase goods for cash 685. So when you purchase the goods, you will have to do the payment. So this will be the entry of payment sent. If I have to post this entry in my journal, the entry will be done of purchase account debit to cash account. Purchase will be debit because it is an expense and we have to pay the cash. Cash is a real account and the rule of real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So entry becomes purchase account debit to cash account and it is the entry of payment. Paid to Rishi. I am paying the amount to Rishi. Means I have paid the cash. This entry is also of the payment side. Deposited into bank 4,000. As I am preparing the cash account, I have, or you can say it is the entry of cash in hand side. So I have to pay deposit in my bank. This cash goes from my hand and it gets deposited in the bank. So cash account debit to bank account means you will do the entry of bank account debit to cash account. Bank is receiving, bank becomes debit, and you are paying the cash to cash account. Cash account will come on the credit side. Next, paid for office stationery. You are paying the amount for office stationery. Payment is going from your side. You have to pay the cash. So it is also an entry of payment side. Sold goods for cash. Now, you have sale the goods. आपने goods बेचे, you will receive the payment. You will get the payment for sold your goods. So it is an entry of receipt. Paid salary. You are paying the salary of 400 rupees. So you are paying the salary of 400 rupees. Cash is going from your side. So it is the entry of payment. Next, paid into bank. Bank पे pay किया, कितना pay किया? 2,500. Again, you are paying to the bank. It is the entry of payment side. Students get clear? So what I am going to tell you, then when you are preparing the cash book, whatever transactions you have in your questions or whatever transactions you have in your numericals, you just have to identify very clearly that it is on the receipt side or it will be on the payment side. Very easy method to identify that it is of receipt of payment, that this cash is you are getting the cash or you are paying the cash. If you are getting the cash, it is of receipt. If you are paying the cash, it is of payment. So you have to identify whether it is in receipt, whether it is in payment. Clear, students? Means whatever entries you are doing, you have to identify receipt and payment. It is clear? You have to record this entry in the simple cash book. Now, how we post the entries in my cash account. Now, in this way, you prepare your entries in the cash account, cash book. As I've told you, that cash book always have the debit balance. Cash book always have the debit balance. When cash book always have the debit balance, so I've told you also in my opening entries, when I have explained you about the opening entries, remember that if there were the opening balances, you have to remember one thing, that all the assets have the debit balance and it have to be posted on the debit side. And all the liabilities have the credit balance and it have to be posted on the credit side. Means if there is a balance of any asset account, it have to be posted on the debit side. And if there is any balance of any liability, it has to be posted on the credit side. Assets always have debit balance, liabilities also always have credit balance. Assets are the part of the real account, they always have debit balance. Students, please understand my the statement and please remember the statement that all the assets have debit balance, all the liabilities have credit balance. Cash is the part of the asset, it is a part of the real account. Therefore, the balance of the cash also have the debit balance. I'm explaining it again, that the balance of the cash always have the debit balance. So what you have done, what you have to do, all the balances of the cash, if it is of closing balance of the cash, it have to be written on the debit side. If in case, it can be the case on the case of the overdraft, when we are recording the balance of the bank and it is on the negative side, it can be the case of the overdraft, then only it will be written on the, that we discuss further when we do the double column cash book. There we are only talking about the single column cash book. So today we talk about only single column. So the first entry, that is entry that I have told you, this entry cash in hand 6,500 are posted there. To balance brought up 6,500. This is generally the opening entry, means you are only recording the closing balance in the cash account with the name of to balance brought down 6,500. Now, I've told you that all the entries are of payment side. That I've told you, this is a payment, and this is only the receipt entry. Therefore, all entries came on the credit side because this is the payment side and this is the receipt side. Only one entry is of receipt, that is of sale, that I have posted on debit side. How the entries are posted in the cash account. It is a rule of the ledger. In debit side, we write the entries start from to, and on credit side, we start the entries from by. On debit side, we start the entries from to, and from credit side, we start the entries from by. Now, when we are posting the entries on the debit side, to sales account, means what we are doing. When we are preparing the cash account name doesn't came in this account. Only opposite aspect comes under the cash book. Only opposite aspect come under the cash book. Now, what is opposite aspect? Means aspect from where you are receiving the payment or you are doing the payment. This payment is to the bank, this payment is to the stationery, this payment is to the salary, this is payment to the bank. So we record all the names with another aspect under the cash account in this way. Means the payment you do which party. You have done the payment to which party will come on this side. You are doing the payment to Rishi, you are doing the payment to the bank, you are doing the payment to the stationery, you are doing the payment of salary, you are doing the payment of bank account, and you are doing the payment of the purchase. Therefore, this comes under the payment side. You receive the payment from sales, therefore sale account come under the receipt side. Student, make it very clear. In cash book, the name of the cash doesn't came under the cash book. Cash book name come only on the top of the account. Only opposite aspect means from where you are receiving the payment and to the party you are doing the payment. only that name came under the cash book. On the debit side, you start the name from 2. On the credit side, you start the name with a by. This is a proper format, and you have to use this to and by. The entry is recorded in the form of to and by only. This is not controversial that why this come and we forget it. This is not controversial. You have to record the entries with the name of to and by. Now, what you have to do? If you are posting the entries on the receipt side from where you have received the payment, that name will come under the debit side. I have received the payment from sales, therefore I posted the sales account on debit side. And to the parties you are doing the payment. That will come on the credit side. All the parties that I have told you in the entries also there. This payment is for purchase, this payment is to Rishi, this payment is to the bank, this is for the stationery, this is for the salary, and this is to the bank. Therefore, this all accounts come in the credit side. So this is the debit side, this is the credit side, this is receipt side, this is payment side. All receipt entries will come on debit side, all payment entries will come on credit side. Now what next? What we do next? Just after posting all the entries in the cash book, you just have to calculate the balance. For example, this side totals become 9,000. 6,500 plus 2,500 becomes 9,000. But if you do this types of side payment, this payment will come 855 less from 9,000. Debit side should always be equal to the credit side. Means the total which is coming on this side will come on this side, and total which is coming on this side have to come on this side. Means which total is larger, that total will be on the both of the side when you are preparing the ledger account. Means if debit side total is coming larger than the credit side, that total will come on the both side. And if credit side total is coming larger than the debit side, that total will come on the both side. What next? You just, for example, here debit side total is more than the credit side. Debit side total is coming 9,000 and credit side total is coming some around 9,000 or 8,145. 8,145. So it is less 855. What I have to do? I just have to make the balance of the account. I just deduct the 9,000, this amount from 9,000 and the balance. This 855 is balance that's left. Means this is the total that is less. That I written on this because I have to make both sides equal. I just equal the account, write this total, and this total will be written from the balance carried down. It is written as the balance carried down. You have to just understand these words. There I have written balance brought down, and there I have written carried down. Means when you are broughting down the balance from closing to opening, it will be written as the brought down. And when you are balancing the account, it will be written as the carried down. So it is written as carried down 855, and both sides become equal. Students clear with the cash book? Before I explain, I'm just explaining it again within 5 minutes. Just understand it very clearly. Cash book consists of 8 columns or 10 columns if you want to include the column of voucher. Voucher number is not very compulsory because many times it is their voucher and it cannot be their voucher. So the column that is very mandatory to make date, receipt, LF amount, date, receipt, LF amount. Also date, particulars, LF amount, date, particulars, LF amount. Date, particulars, LF amount, date, particulars, LF amount. This is debit side, this is a credit side. Means इधर क्या लिखा हुआ है debit side and इधर credit side. All the entries that in which you are receiving the payment, you have to post on the debit side. And all the entries in which you are doing the payment will have to be recorded on the credit side. On the debit side or on the credit side, cash, if I am preparing the cash book, the name of the cash will not come under both the sides. Opposite aspect from where I am receiving the payment and to whom I am doing the payment will come in the cash book. That, like there in this question, we are receiving the payment from sales, therefore it is written as the sale. In debit side, all the entries that will become will be shown from to, and in credit side, all the entries come will show from by. So on debit side it will be to, and on credit side it will be by. To sales account, by purchase, by stationery, by this, by this. When you posted all the entries, what you will do, you just make the total of debit side and you make the total of the credit side. If debit side total is greater than the credit side, you write that total on the both of the sides. Now the amount which is less on credit side, you will write it as the balance credit down and make the equal. So both the accounts of debit and credit have to be equal only. The rest amount is called as the balance because basically the purpose of the cash book or any ledger is to calculate the balance of the accounts, and that balance credit down is that only balance for which we are preparing the ledger. This is the specimen of the simple cash book. These are all the objectives of cash book. Cash book have all the features. I think clear with this all? Student, as you have understand about the simple cash book, we discussed about the simple cash book, and you understand also. I think it become very clear to you that how you will post your entries in the simple cash book. As I have told you, it includes two sides, receipt and payment. On the receipt side, you post the entries of receipt. On the payment side, you post the entries of the payment. So it is receipt and it is a payment. Now continue further. We discuss about the various other types of cash book. Now, various other types of cash book means cash book is of two-column cash book. That is cash with discount column, cash with bank column, cash with bank and discount column, or we can have three-column cash book, or we can have petty cash book. So what is the purpose of this different types of cash book and why the company prepares so many of the cash books in their accounts? Basically, the purpose is this because, as I have told you earlier also, that there were the various transactions of the cash in the company accounts. And it is very difficult for the company to just calculate or to just identify all the cash transaction and just make it assemble at one place and then prepare the ledger. And at the time of the preparing of the ledger, it is very becomes difficult to take out all the entries from the journal. And sometimes what happened, the company just forgot one or two entries because there was so much of entries related to the cash. In the business, all the transactions we do it from the bank also, and we do the transaction from hand also. Everything includes receipt and payment. Almost all the entries, 5 into 4, it's a ratio that entries consist of the account of the cash. So, what can company do to make it simple? So that there will be the minimum chances of wrong entries or can be the minimum chances of mistakes. So what company do? Company prepare the cash book. So one form that we have discussed now, that one form is that we prepare the simple cash book in which we record only the entries that was related to the cash. Can be cash receipt, it can be cash payment. Another what if a company wants to make it more simple, company make another column that is a column of discount with the cash account only. One column is for discount paid and one column is for discount received. On the debit side, it prepares the discount column, it is for the discount paid, and on the another side, it prepares a column that is for discount received. Another one, that is cash and bank column. What company do? Company makes various transactions with cash, companies make various transactions with the bank. Now what company do? Company post both the entries, whether they are making the payment and transaction from the bank or whether it is doing the transaction from the cash in hand. Both type of entries is posted in the cash book. What makes it easy for the company? It makes very easy for the company because companies don't have to go anywhere when you have to make the audited of the accounts of the bank account or cash. It just go into the cash book, check the entries daily, check the balance of its bank account, and can be verified that what had happened. Is there any variation or not? Is there any deviation or not? Or accounts are correct or not? Another method so that entries become more simpler and more easy is bank and discount column. Company prepare bank account also, company prepare discount column also. In this way, company can post all the entries of the cash, whether it is cash in hand, whether it is cash at bank, whether it is discount paid, whether it is discount received, under one book, which make very easy for the company to identify and to calculate the balances related to the cash, whether it is in hand, whether it is at bank at one place, and to easily can check its balances of bank and cash at very minimum time at a one place only. Cash book is very useful. Why it is useful? It is useful because it helps the company to correct out a mistake, or it helps the company to have an organized separate books of account. It helps the company to minimize its mistakes, to minimize the wrong entries, to minimize the probabilities of wrong entries. It really makes the company very easy job to prepare the entries at one place. 3-column cash book and the cash book with cash, bank and discount column is same. When you prepare your cash book with the cash account, bank account and discount account, both the three accounts are prepared in one cash book, then it is known as the 3-column cash book because it consists of 3 columns. One column is for cash, one column is for bank and another column is for discount. Rest, petty cash. Now, what is this petty cash? Company makes daily various expenses, very small expenses. Sometimes it has to pay for the tea, sometimes it has to pay the coffee, for stationery, for paper, for anything. Now, if I record, one thing is this, that I record every transaction in my cash book. Now, what is the difficulty in this? Difficulty is that cash book becomes very bulky. And the small amounts makes a bulky to cash book because there are the various entries of the cash. And if I just make all the entries, so it's become very difficult when I have to just audit the sales because cash book becomes bulky to so much entries in the cash book. So it's become very complicated. Like. So to make it very simple, what companies do, companies prepare petty cash book. What they do, they just all the small expenses, that is a very small amount, it is of 50, 20, 100 and 150, 200 rupees, they make it in the separate books. So that it does not just pinch or just not distract or just not makes cash book too bulky, that it becomes very difficult to audit the amount that is very important. Or just be able to audit the very important entries. So this is what we do in petty cash book. We just record small expenses and payments in this petty cash book. And in last, we just make the balance that what overall we have incurred or what overall we have received from this petty cash book, so that it becomes very easy and the small amount doesn't disturb the big amount of the cash book. And it's very easy, a cash book becomes very organized, and if anyone can calculate or anyone can calculate the balances from that ledger, so it becomes very easy to audit the cash book of the company accounts. This company accounts, what company prepare is, it is generally for the audit purpose. As I've told you, this cash book or any other book that prepared in the accounting and prepared in the organization is for the users. Users can be anyone, it can be the government, it can be the public, it can be the employee, it can be the society. So what company requires that because these are the users of the company accounts, so they want the transparency in the company accounts and they want that there will be the clarity in the company accounts. And company accounts should be presentable, it should be shown in a very easy way. So what company do? They just prepare their account and make it presentable, make it very easy, so that users can easily identify and easily get what they want to actually get. They just don't have to be in the complications of the companies, or just don't become messy for the users to, or they becomes very messy that they were not able to know that what is happening in the company. That this should not be done in the company accounts. So this cash book and other ledgers and other books, it's only prepared that all the users of the accountants, all the person who are concerned with the accounts can able to know that what is actually happening in the accounts, and it really becomes presentable to the users so that they can easily able to calculate, able to audit, able to know whatever information they require, whatever information they want, and they didn't have to ask for everything or doesn't get any unclear picture about the company, that what overall company is happening in the company. So this is all about the cash book. In my next lecture, we will discuss about the two-column cash book, that is cash book with the discount column, and we will discuss about the cash book with the bank column. You will see in my next when we discuss in my next lectures about this too, that after preparing this books, how it becomes very easy for the company to prepare the accounts. So students, we will discuss in our next lecture. We will talk about in our next lectures about the other cash books. Till then, just remember how the entries have been posted in this cash book. Cash book, again I'm telling, cash book having the two sides, one is debit side and one is credit side. Debit side is for the receipt, credit side is for the payment. In cash book, cash account doesn't came under the accounts, only the opposite aspect that you are recording come under the increase. Thank you very much.